Okay. Been in the past.
Yeah, it's sometimes a little too far away. I think I know. I think I've figured out the distance from this one now. I think I've got the right
Right. I think at
distance
some
from
point
it.
I'll have to go back through and they all look very similar, but you can tell a little movement when I go between scenes, but
Sure,
not that
sure.
big of a deal, but I would like it to just be solid when it changes
That
scenes.
feels pretty good.
Yeah, cool.
Ooh, it's hot.
Is it? Well, speaking of hot, you're online, buddy.
Are we on the internet?
We are on the internet.
Excellent. Hey, welcome to Critters in Taiwan, a D&D podcast about Critical Role, where a bunch of nerdy-ass voice actors sit around and play Dungeons and Dragons. I am Ben in Kaohsiung,
I am Tim in Taichung.
and we are Critters in Taiwan. How are you now, Tim?
I'm doing good, man. School is in full swing, so we're just kind of going through the motions now. It's week
Right.
4, so
Nice.
we're cruising now, getting to know everybody, nothing online. Nobody gives a shit about COVID, it seems, anymore, which
Yeah,
is great.
that's great. You know what's happening at my school right now? I probably shouldn't say this, but nobody really cares. It's sweeping the city right now. Enterovirus has hit our school.
Oh,
We have we have the kindergarten has 2 classes shut down, and the P class, our elementary school class, grade 1 to 6, has 1 class shut down.
hmm.
So interesting stuff. We're going hybrid. We're going online this week,
Is that just a virus that's just around all the time?
all the time, all the
Because like
time.
when I
I
was in
don't.
kindergarten, it was constant
Yep.
fear of
It
like ETEV is I guess is
Yeah,
what they call it.
maybe. Yeah, it only really affects young kids. Like
Yeah.
older kids don't get it. They do, but they don't show any symptoms, so it's completely harmless.
Right.
And adults literally don't like they get it because of everybody gets viruses, but it just goes right through us, and there is no symptom at all. So
Yeah.
it's
And
yeah, it's
I've also heard I haven't heard anything negative. I don't know anything about enterovirus.
super mild. There's okay. So I looked it up and I was like, really? What? This is coming again? And I sort of was like, well, I should Wikipedia this. There's 81 different strains, and 3 of them are polio, which is weird. So those are kind of serious. But like the other 78 aren't polio, so they just sort of are whatever.
I
And they're
guess.
basically anyone's that show the symptoms are mild, common cold. It's nothing to be scared about,
Right.
but it is quite infectious, and I guess we don't like little kids having colds. I don't
Right.
know.
I mean, I feel for those teachers. I hope they're getting paid for the days off, but I'm
I
pretty sure that's not how it works in this country.
Nope. I don't. I
No.
don't know what's going on. I can't speak to that. I
Mm.
just know that I will be. So the one class that I teach that is off, I will walk into class and there will be a laptop or a projector of some sort, and I will be online for that class.
Huh. Okay.
Yeah.
For
Yeah.
all the kids that don't have it, I'm gonna sit there and just do an online class. To write your 9s, write your 4s.
Yep. Yep. Exactly.
Today's number is
But
94. Ha ha ha.
clicking buttons I shouldn't be clicking. There we go. But anyway, we're not talking about that. We're
Nah.
talking about campaign 3, episode number 72, Phantasmal Parley.
Phantasmal Parley, which was basically the only thing that happened the entire episode.
Kind of
If we're gonna
was.
be honest,
This was a great episode.
it
Not
was
a lot
great.
happened.
Very humorous.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, they were in a good mood.
they were not on a boat and they got on a boat.
Yep.
That's what happened.
That's what happened.
They didn't even get through
How
a day.
how they got on the boat was weird,
It was a
and
little strange.
it felt very anticlimactic, but it was a thing that happened.
And it was
Beautiful
only,
set. Another beautiful set that by Whiz Kids. Whiz
Yeah.
Kids.
and it was only
Um,
slightly shorter than normal, but it felt really short. It was only
Yeah.
413 on Twitch, Like if it goes
Which
to
is
YouTube, do they still keep in the middle on YouTube? I don't remember anymore.
Yeah, they do. They keep all
the
the
break?
ads in the middle.
But what about they take off the outro, they take off the intro, right?
They still have the outro. They take out the intro.
They just go like, "Hello, everybody." That's how they
I
start.
can quickly look here. Or maybe I can't. Oh no.
Phantasmal Parlay.
Yep, there it is. It is 3:55 on YouTube.
Huh. Huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking at a lot of shit here. Candela Obscura just hasn't gripped me, and those are like, man, 5 hours for that one. Midst, the last time you and I talked about that, I kind of got a little interested because you said it was pretty good.
It's pretty great. I finished season 1. I have not started season 2 yet. It's older, right? Like what they're doing is they're replaying these.
They have it on a marathon here. 7.5 hour marathon situation.
Yep.
There we go. I could check that out, but I'm checking out
season
other
1's great
too. So
I have not got to season 2 yet. I haven't started it. I'm gonna probably wait for a little bit once things sort of calm down a bit, and then I'll have a little bit more time, and I can listen to it. They're only like 20 minutes or so episodes. They're not very long, so they're pretty great. It's
good move on their part.
Yeah, it's weird to get into. It's the first couple of episodes, I was like, I do not follow. But they have very, very nice voices, and it's the music is cool. So there's like this really fun, sort of gnarly, funky music going on, and they're good storytellers. So I did enjoy it. I enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah, I do like their close mic'd advertisements in the breaks. Yep. You know, because their voice is so close to the microphone, it's very intimate. You know, apparently that's the thing. You know, with all the ASMR and shit, and like everybody has to gear that way. Oh, don't. We just lost 5 viewers for each slurp.
Oh, we only have 1 left? Oh
man.
No.
I know.
Speaking of, good segue, Timothy Tucker.
Hey.
Let's talk about some people that did listen to our shit. Shout out to Intoxicated Conqueror, as always, getting some good shout outs to us, asking us about, well, first off, correcting our misgendering. Apologies.
Yeah. We didn't know the whole time.
Of course not.
But
we had no
they
idea.
just clarified for us, you know.
I will plead guilty. A name like Intoxicated Conqueror, which I fucking love, I immediately assumed guy. That's my call. What do you want? I don't care. I'm good with it. And then we had another one from Demetrios Lazaridis 5005. It's a wonderful fucking name. Talking about Q being the cinematography on Ahsoka. I want to say Osaka so badly every time. All I can think about is Osaka. Osaka. No, it's Ahsoka. Because Q is that's Sam's wife, is the cinematographer for Ahsoka. So he sort of suggested that maybe.
Are we sure it's a he?
God damn it. They suggested that Matt might have had some inside knowledge. Maybe he heard about it. Maybe he caught an episode beforehand about the sky whales with space whales, which are called Purgil.
Yeah,
I'm not sure how to pronounce it.
I didn't know how to pronounce that word.
Purrgil. Star Wars canon. They are hyperspace traveling. They're galactic space whales. They travel between galaxies. It's really, really weird. There's some weird shit going on Star Wars stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, good call. I like it.
You know, I would think though, like that Sam would have had more of a reaction to it, unless he just really has no idea what his wife does. They just kind of do their thing. They don't really care.
100% could be the case.
I mean, that's Sam. You know, he only cares about what he does.
I would say that. Yeah, I was going to say that's probably a one-way thing. Like he probably doesn't care. She's probably very aware of what's going on.
Well, yeah, I mean, she's had her interviews with people who can't be named anymore, and she's like, "Nah, he just does that thing, and I don't really get it, but at least it's fun for him, and the kids get good stories." So,
good point.
Yeah, like a lazy girl,
getting comfy.
She's getting comfy, like the whole time, getting comfy.
Pulled the blanket right off the back of the sofa, just out of my bed.
She doesn't like the blanket, does she?
No, she does. She doesn't want it on the back. She wants it under her.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, she's like, were you talking about me?
Did you say her name?
No.
She's got that ultra hearing. You know?
She heard it through the headphones. She knows when she's being talked about.
Yeah.
Hey, listen. Should we get in some rollies?
Yeah, let's get some rollies. Not a whole lot to talk about here.
This.
I've got, I could rapid fire through these 6 things that I've written down.
I got Sure, I got 7.
We've already done the synopsis for this, which we don't even do anyway, because that's not what this show is. They found a boat, they got on the boat. There we go. I mean, we're done saying spoilers, so fuck off if you didn't know that. Sorry. Also, if you didn't know that.
Oh, I do want to say one quick thing. Again, they showed us another T-shirt at the beginning of this episode during the ad read. The "Is it Thursday yet?" shirt. I really want one. Santa, if you're listening, I really want one.
I wonder if we can cross that out and say "Finally Friday" instead,
Mm.
and put a Critical Role, or sorry, CIT logo right up here on the back.
Sure. Sure.
See
All
if they
right,
would
I'm
sign off on
gonna
that.
roll a dice.
Okay, for once, my Ukatoa die once. I don't know. I know you can hear me when I do that, but I think the sound level cuts that off when I'm
Oh, really?
from through OBS. Yeah, because like the voice that Travis does for being a werewolf. The I have an example of it later, but the Dr. Evil from Inspector Gadget. That
I am Dr. Evil.
yeah, I can hear you. You can hear me, but I think it cuts it off for the feed.
Really?
Because I've done it twice and it came up silent on YouTube.
No.
Yeah. Anyway, let's get this rolling.
I'll get you too.
Starting with a classic 2 on the Ukatoa die. Fucking
Holy
hell.
crap! I rolled a 16. All right. I'm going to listen. I got a couple of things. Microphone down. I've got a couple of things to say about the raw shit again this week.
Okay.
The first one is right. It was like my first note, my second note. When they speak with dead, we speak FCG cast speak with dead with the druid, and they don't get much info because underlings don't know much. Then they speak with Ratanish, and he knows a lot, but he probably lied about a bunch of stuff.
Ratanish is a he?
Yeah, Ratanish is definitely a he.
I'm way confused.
Big old, I want to say Goliath, probably Goliath. Half giant, I think they call him.
That's the Goliath. Damn.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. They fought him. That was one that Ashton had the fisticuffs with at the ball when they went way back in Dressar, way back in the early episodes, when they had the Ashton wore the mask of the Nightmare King.
Wow.
He challenged Ratanish to a fight at the ball,
right?
The gala, whatever you want to call it. Way back when they were looking for the Shade Mother. That was when she was doing this stuff. It's a long time ago.
Shade Mother. Jeez.
Yeah.
It seems like a different campaign at this point.
It really does. It's a long time ago. But I just want to say, here's my problem with this, is they did this in campaign 2, and Matt was a bit of a stickler about it. He said nothing this time, and I'm curious why. FCG cast the spell, and then Imogen asks all the questions.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about this.
It confused me because she dresses up like her mom, and then sort of does the thing, but it specifically says in the spell, you ask. And Matt stuck true to that in campaign 2 when Caduceus or Jester, mostly Caduceus, would cast the spell, and then like Ford tried to disguise self and tried to be like, I'm like it was Captain Trapjaw or Lockjaw or whatever the captain of Avantica's other captain
was ripped out or whatever.
And he couldn't talk, so he's like,
That's
and then
why
he's
he
like,
sounded so different, because he didn't know how he sounded. Yeah.
Right. There was a bunch of that stuff. Matt was like, well, no, you have to ask the questions, Caduceus. Like you're the one that cast the spell. But in this one, he fully embraced the idea that Imogen would be able to ask. I'm kind of curious why, and I kind of don't like it because I sort of feel that it's a little bit. It just changes the dynamic of the spell.
Yeah, I mean, I was expecting FCG to ask these questions, like, well, hey, how and then like try to. I'm sure they wouldn't get as much information, but I don't know that Matthew didn't say anything about it.
No, I'm curious what you thought about that, because I didn't really like it. I mean, the idea is that if you like, they did it right the second time with Ratanish, where he's like, they're under no compulsion to tell the truth if you're hostile, if they recognize that you're hostile, or if they recognize you as an enemy. And he clearly did, because Imogen failed a deception check.
They had a roll, yeah.
And they rolled, but there was still a roll for it, which I didn't like. And then Fern did the insight check, and she's like, I think he's being a little evasive about this. And it's like, okay, that's kind of the way you're supposed to play this. Like FCG should have been asking the questions, and then they could have realized that, oh no, he's lying. But even with a lie, you still can get the information. Because if you know that they're lying, then you know what the truth is. right? Or you get, at least you get some of the
You
information.
get information for sure. And she also got that whisper with a 17, which I was like, I just kind of, those kinds of things, I always kind of have it in my brain as like a 20 DC, perhaps. You know, so it was like 17 for this. And then like, also, why is it a whisper?
So here's the
they're all
thing.
whispers now, apparently.
Right. Well, I think when there aren't, I think there should be, I kind of feel like they should be, I don't know, there's a lot there. There should be whispers each game.
There's a lot of corporate in whispers now, I think. It's like without any whispers, be like, oh, whisper. And then Sam, you know.
I see what you're saying.
He shills it up.
Shilling. Yeah. Right. Yeah, there's that. So,
yeah.
I don't know.
And immediately she was like, he's not telling the truth. We should do so, you know. And it's like, why did Matt have to whisper that? You know?
Right.
Unless later on we found out he's actually trying to flirt with the cast.
It's a little bit, I think it's a little bit of giving the players a little bit of agency in revealing or not revealing. Like she could choose not to reveal that he was lying and, you know, let chaos reign. Yeah. So which is sort of Fern's MO anyway. Right. So I think there's some of that going on.
Did I do the face right?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I was a little surprised it didn't come up. My first thought was when it happened was that like, what's Ben going to say about this?
Well, that was the first one I didn't like. There's another one coming up.
Yeah? Right now or?
No, I don't have much to say, so go ahead.
Okay. All right. I'll just reach around on that one for, let's see. Oh man, I should have done this beforehand. Man, these are all just like standalone points. They're not evergreens. I'm with Sam on the 4-sided dives. I don't like the evergreens anymore. I just want good questions from good fans. What are you doing, bro?
There was a noise behind me.
Sure, Lacey's directly behind you. She's wagging her tail. She thinks you're looking for her.
Something weird is going on.
You still hear something?
Yeah, but all the animals are all completely still. I don't know. Maybe I'm hearing things.
You're the animal in this situation.
Man, this one's sleeping, that one's sleeping, this one's right behind me.
Still licking her balls.
Is there a fifth I don't know about?
You got a pickle, you got a baby Maggie.
Oh man. I'm a little nervous.
If I see one move, I'll let you know. If
the screen goes black, call 119.
Okay, yeah. Which is the number here in Taiwan.
Right. Okay, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Go ahead.
Shit, man, I could just roll a die on choosing one of these 6. You know what? Maybe I should
go for
that. I'm gonna do that. I never get the chance to do this because they're all just equally standalone. Give me a D6. Here we go. All right. Number 2. Number 2 is I did not, and nor do I think that's a D8, whatever. I'll change the D6 later. I did not think of, and nor do I think the entire cast thought about the potential ramifications of handing over this blade.
Oh, dude,
to a fucking random person.
Yeah.
Now, before you jump on that, did you get to watch this 1.5, 2 times?
No, I watched it once. I only watched it once.
Did you watch chat this first time through?
I did pause and scroll back and look at some chat. Not for this part. I didn't not for that one, but I was. It's one of my points. For the parlay. I don't. This seems to be a meta point to me, where this is my take on it. Is that 2 things, if I may. Number 1 is that Travis has had all the talking swords. So I think the rest of the cast is kind of going, enough. You don't get to have all of them. And get rid of
You think so?
I do, because that leads me into part B.
I didn't pick up on that.
Which is that none of them want it because they all know it's evil. And so...
But that didn't come up in the episode. That came up in 4-sided dive.
That's my meta point.
Yeah, okay.
they meta know.
They all know that it is because of four-sided dive.
Evil.
Yeah.
And so they're all like, yeah, I don't want it. I don't want it. I don't want it. I don't want it. Because I think there's a bit, if even though Orem has Seedling, which is a fucking amazing sword, and he would probably never ever give it up. This sword would be amazing for him. It's a finesse weapon. So it would be. I think it's a finesse weapon.
Very interesting for him. I think it is a finesse weapon, yeah. And I think it'd be very interesting for him because it would be telling him, oh, you got to take these people out. He's like, there's no way I could do this unless it charms him with a DC 13.
Which is the conflict, which is why it's sort of interesting and could be a lot of fun. But meta, they all know it, so they don't want it, and they don't want Travis to have it, so they got rid of it.
And that is kind of going with what I'm saying here, where it's like when this episode started, or the second half of this episode started, and they were like, and I remember Matthew, I had to watch through it again to see what Matthew actually said. He was like, blade now, compass after.
Yeah.
After Laudna had said, blade now, compass after we arrive.
Yeah.
And then Matthew changed a little bit. And I was like, ooh, nice move, Matthew. He said sword first, compass after to kind of reiterate what she had said. But no, he changed the entire wording of it.
That's right.
But then when they handed over the sword, everyone was like, because he said, you're like, okay, like I'm going to bed or whatever the fuck. And he was like, and he said to the sword, he was like, oh, I'm listening. We'll talk soon. And that's when everybody was like, oh shit. Mm-hmm. At least that's the impression I got from what I saw.
A little bit. I think there's going to be a thing that's going to happen later where they're definitely, Chetney might get into a whole lot of trouble by going and trying to get that sword back.
Oh, trying to get it back.
Yeah,
I think he's charmed by it already? I mean,
no, I don't think he is charmed by it. I think he wants it. Maybe he doesn't. Maybe Travis plays this one smartly. Maybe he sort of says, no, it's okay. It's not worth it. It was the price to pay for the voyage, and it's all good. The sword is only going to cause, because the sword is only going to cause trouble. Genuinely, it will. And so maybe they take that off the table, and it becomes a non-issue from now on out. And it doesn't really matter that it's in the hands of this ghost dwarf pirate dude, because it's not really going to matter. It's an evil sword. They are under the command of the Strife Emperor, which, FYI, is Bane, the betrayer god. So I mean that he's a bad betrayer god, like real fucking bad. I thought it was kind of fun how they didn't call him Bane; they called him the Strife Emperor. But again, the branding
changed
thing,
it, right?
The branding, it's branding stuff, right? It's owned by, those names are owned by WotC, so it's just a branding thing. But yeah, they're like, so it's a bad sword, and these pirates are sort of under contract of a betrayer god. Kind of fits. It's all good. I don't really. I'm of two minds. I don't like the way they did it, perhaps, because it felt a little bit, on the nose. But I don't think there's any repercussions for it.
Not really, because like I could imagine, I thought of two things. Where like, now this fucking pirate is going to be like, oh yeah, let's take out the whole council, right? Or it's like, say they for some reason take their ship all the way to Whitestone or whatever. Or
that's not far.
Wherever.
I didn't really realize this. Do you know where the Shattered Teeth are?
Man, I must have seen a map at some point, but I've kind of forgotten. I just remember southish.
The Shattered Teeth are due south of Wildmount.
And Taldor is to the west.
It sort of goes. It sort of goes in the northern half. It's Isilra, Taldore, Wildmount, the three continents, and then Marquette and Shattered Teeth. There's nothing here. This is the Lucidian Ocean. There's a big gap here. So it goes 1, 2, 3, 1, 2.
And on a pirate ship, I mean, they've only got time,
Well, also they even said that if they get summoned, they can just right away. They're there.
Yeah, I mean, which so is what happens.
There is no travel. It's just here we are.
Also, like, let's say just for example, Keyleth happens to be in Whitestone because, like, the council is based in Whitestone now. No, where are they based?
No, it's still in Iman.
In Iman. They rebuilt it, and they're
Yep.
based in Iman. Okay,
That's
but they
right.
can still go back home and all that shit. Okay.
Perhaps, yeah.
However, that's
No
fucking
idea.
that's fucking campaigns ago, folks.
Yeah. And who knows what's changed since then? So
So, I mean, one pirate ship shows up and Pike happens to be there, or maybe she's not. And then Keyless is like, hey, Pike, we need you for a second.
Yeah.
Through a tree, be like, oh, these guys, fuck off. And the pirate ship is gone. I think that's
basically,
how
yeah.
that goes. The council is way more powerful than this little boat.
Yeah, more or less.
Yeah.
Now, do they actually go after the council, or do they take them out one by one sneakily? Who knows?
Are they that smart? I guess we don't really know that much
don't
yet.
know. Yeah,
Apparently,
and
they
I
don't know a lot about games and shit, and they don't meet people,
Yeah.
so...
What is this? Rollies.
Yeah. That was pretty fun while it lasted. Man,
was.
Matthew ditched that, man.
Yeah.
Like everybody, like especially Ashley was like, "What? No, we have to play more." And Matthew was like, "Nope. Like
No,
if we're going to play something, I need to plan more or something,
Yeah.
He's like, "I didn't plan on you guys 3 days on a boat with people that don't hang out with people." Yeah, I don't think I think it maybe was a little bit unprepared on Matthew's part, which is very odd to say because he's so prepared for so many things. But making up a game on the spot, making up reactions, it might be a little bit too much to ask for, one moment because he ended it seemingly abruptly.
It felt a little bit like he had it was time, right? I don't think it was abrupt. I think he ended it right at the right place. It just happened a little bit sooner than he thought.
Yeah.
There wasn't as much filler in between, perhaps.
It was lopsided, the first half and the second half. First half was this long and second half
We should
was
have
short.
Sure. Do you want to do some rollies? Because I have a thing to say about it.
Yeah, let's do it. Another
18.
2. I've rolled 3 twos in a row.
Excellent. I got an 18.
From 16 to 18. Man, this fucking Ford die. I mean, I don't want to say don't buy it, but don't buy it.
I guess
It doesn't work.
Talk a little bit about the combat. There was a few weird things that happened in the combat. Like this combat was kind of fun. There was like the firearms aspect of it, how they were like they sort of were like, that's where did you get these? Somebody asked on Twitter how a ghost pirate ship that had been around for 100 years had firearms. They're like, but Percy didn't invent them until like 40 years ago. So what the hell? But it's like, well, yeah, but Matt even said it on the episode. He's like, they take what they want. So they've fought other boats that have had, or other whatever, that have had pistols and muskets and things like that in the past little while. So that was kind of fun.
And they said on the boat, they're like, we like to stick to the kind of the old fashioned shit. So they have heard of it.
Yep.
Like, do you have any cannons? No, we don't have cannons. We like ballista.
Right. Yeah, it's strange. They had the regenerating skeletons were really pretty cool. I thought that was a neat thing. But here's my point about the regenerating skeletons. Matt played it in a way where like at I have a timestamp 1:24:47. Laura above table goes, he didn't take them away. Like the minis, he didn't take them off the board. When they killed the first round of them, he just placed them down on their side, like they were prone. And immediately I'm like, well, I know what that means.
Was that with the fireball, or was that with the
whatever? A couple of them.
They were challenge rating 2, so they didn't get destroyed.
Yeah.
So the fireball, he went boom, 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 boom.
Yes, a bunch of them popped.
I didn't see that. So he just turned them sideways.
Ashton cracked a couple because Ashton's fucking overpowered barbarian like crazy. All of that stuff. He's just like, as they were dying, he was just laying them on their side, and then didn't really say anything about it. And Laura was like right at the hop. She's like, well, he didn't take them away. That that
I
means
didn't hear
something.
her say that.
Yeah, and then
I watched it twice, folks.
Everybody sort of was like, oh, and then sure enough, on their turn, they pop back up again.
As soon as I saw that they went down so easily,
Yes.
AC of 15, and they only had like 35 or 40 hit points, whatever that was. Like
not much, yeah,
not much.
Yep.
And it's like,
but they can't be
this
destroyed.
one goes down, and it's like, and they're so confident. It's like, you're gonna die. Like, okay, I get.
If they are CR2, that means FCG won't be able to turn them until like level 12 or 13 or something like that. Yeah. It's quite a ways away. So
or
at that point,
he
probably should be able to.
He turned them. Yeah.
Okay. That's right. He won't be able to destroy them until that point.
We can't say
and then
he
just
him,
one
right?
more.
You said like he, they.
One more, one more quick little point. I was harping on the so Laudna gets turned again in this episode. She'll never get destroyed because her CR is way too high. It'll never be able to happen. Like she'll get turned. The thing, Matt actually clarified this on Twitter last week. I screenshot it. Where is it? On September 15th, 2023. Matthew Mercer, that was a convo when making the character to push the undead element of the Hollow One a little further. So he clarified the whole thing about in his campaign, in his world, in his setting, Hollow Ones can be affected by turn undead, which isn't the case in the Tal'Dorei Reborn campaign book. So wonderful. I like that shit. That made me very happy. He's like, no. We had a conversation about it. We're good with it. So basically, fuck off. This is the way we're playing the thing. Then right after that, he sort of points to Marisha and he goes, "I'm letting you get away with this," you're
I'm letting you game it enough already, or as it is.
You gamed it enough already.
Yeah.
And he sort of, I'm letting you game this enough. And Marisha was like, what? What do you mean? Because rightfully so. What he was really referring to, because he clarifies a little bit in sort of a weird way, he's like people who are understanding the specifics of turn undead. And what he really meant was...
Did he mean us? Did he mean people at the table?
He meant people at the table.
Okay.
And what he was saying is, you're metagaming this too much.
Okay,
Stop.
that's what's going on right here.
Like, try to RP this. Okay. Don't meta this. Because what you're doing is you're saying that it's this, and you know that, and then you're reacting such, and it's taking a piece of this fun game away from yourselves. Yeah. It's taking a piece away from the table, and that's not fun. And he was sort of going a roundabout way of saying that. There's the complication of them being on air. There's the complication of them all being amazing friends and trusting each other. There's this
so much experience online.
Right. And there's all of these factors at play that make it complicated. Yeah. So I think that's where he was going with this.
I'm gonna add on to that, not make it the plus one, because I got something else to say about this also. Okay. Like the question of like how much was actually going on. I felt like Taliesin was doing quite a bit, because he was like,
"That's my next point.
All you got to do is just knock them once, and then they stop running away." It's like, okay, yeah, you know that as a gamer. Yep. But how far do you take it as RP? It's like, do you know that? And what happened in previous campaigns when they actually didn't know the answers to it was Matthew would be like, make an intelligence roll. No, you know what, for you, religion. You know? And if they rolled, it'd be like, you don't know and you can't say anything. You know, if they fail, you know. Yeah. Which I haven't seen that much at all in this campaign.
He did that in this one, though. They did that right away. Matt was like,
battle.
Yeah, and right away. Oh, Ashton was like, Taliesin, play. I got my note. Tal played the meta game well. He asked about Ashton's knowledge of, I've seen Laudna run away from FCG before. Do I notice her reaction being the same?
I did not catch that.
And Matt was like, make a make an insight check. He was like, this is the right one, it's the insight, and Tal rolled pretty high, and it was, I don't remember what he rolled, but it was good enough. And he was like, okay, you know what? You notice that when she's running, she kind of lurches and she skitters away a little bit differently. You're kind of aware that maybe she got affected.
Okay, I heard that. I guess I must have zoned out both times for the build up to that.
And that's the thing. I was like, right, that's the right way to handle this itch, is to do it like that. So you play it, you RP it the right way.
Now your cats are getting active.
Yeah, they're all.
Maybe something weird is happening over there, and you're the one to see it first.
I don't know what's going on. One of the white one just ran under this table.
Yeah, and the brownish one over there had a little paw coming out. You can't see it on the stream, but I saw it on my screen over here.
Chill's probably wants to come up here and chill with me. I'll pick her up.
Okay, well then I do have a yes and for that, unless we're not finished with that. I felt like there was like just crazy amounts of metagaming going on, but also I don't know where to draw the line just because of their
Yeah.
experience, their knowledge at this
Yep.
point.
Hmm.
That's one of those big things that I've heard gripes. I'm off Reddit now, but I hear gripes about, the three campaigns. The first one, they're new, they're archetypes. The second
Hmm.
one, brand new characters where they actually get to play their fucking ego
Hmm.
or their id or whatever it is that they want to do. Like especially with like Jester and
Yeah.
Caleb and all that shit.
Hmm.
And then the third one, they're well versed in all this stuff, but then Matthew, maybe he made so much homebrew to kind of make it, like, well, maybe you don't know that much kind of thing,
Yeah. Yep.
And it was a great balance, but a lot of people have their issues. Like, well, now we don't know anything instead of we know everything that
Right.
you're doing wrong.
Right. Right.
So it's a whole big dynamic.
You make the word. Well, that's what like I read a lot about how to DM because I'm a very new DM, and I read a lot of people's
Still? Come
advice,
on.
experience. Yeah, dude, I've only ever DM'd one campaign. I'm still DMing my first campaign, so I'm not an experienced DM.
But
I'm
for
learning.
how long?
Yeah, whatever. So like a lot of people's advice, their best advice is like what you do is you react to what the players are doing. And you don't necessarily just keep going on the same way. You make things a little bit more challenging. You change up things. You drop little nuggets of misinformation, and then let them sort of take it as they will. You're like, oh yeah, for example, in the campaign setting I'm playing in, vampires are a big deal here, and vampire spawn and such. And the townspeople are full of advice on how to kill vampires. Pretty much all of it is wrong. It's literally Strahd, the vampire lord, has seeded the cities and the villages with misinformation that the players then pick up on, and then they're going to use against the vampire spawn, and none of it works. It's all bupkis. So it's great.
Do your players know this yet? And I hope they're not watching.
They're learning it slowly.
Have any of them learned if they watch this show, they get some fucking insight?
They might.
But then still, you can't metagame, and you can be like, hey, nobody knows that.
Well, it's funny because they've asked me. They're like, wait, because they just fought werewolves. They're like, do we need to use like stakes and silver bullets and silver things? And I'm like,
intelligence.
You're gonna maybe find out. Like, what does your character already know? What
would you like to do?
Blah, blah, blah. Yeah.
So. Would you like to try to find out? Is it similar to human lore on Earth, or maybe you make a religion check? Maybe, take a page out of Matthew's book and be like, maybe let's give it a roll. Yeah. Well, then I'm gonna go ahead and.
I think this little girl wants to get up. 1 second.
Oh, for sure. I'm gonna bounce back with.
Yep, bounce back.
What do you think, then your thoughts would be? I have a couple of things to say about this, like your thoughts on the future of FCG and Laudna's relationship going forward, There's a buddy. Because
say again?
It's kind of in another thing here too. Fuck, these things are kind of tied together. I might only have like one more point after this, or two more.
All good.
The thoughts of their relationship going forward, because Matthew, I'm tying these two together. Matthew made it vague why Laudna was running away. He said that there was something behind her that she had to get away from. He did not say it was FCG, but I don't know. Maybe Laudna's smart enough to see all the skeletons doing the same thing.
I'm going to say
maybe she understands that FCG may have done something. He did also announce.
Yep.
Sorry about this. Sorry, Laudna.
Speech. Yeah. He has a speech. Right. He says the thing. I think it ties in with what I said earlier. The last point. He's trying to make sure that they're not metagaming this, that they are RPing it properly. Like they're actually like trying to have some fun and play the game a little bit. And it may be a little bit. I wonder if he's sort of aware there might be some fatigue setting in, and I just mean like, why do we have to go through this again? Like, why do we have to play dumb? He might be aware that that's sort of setting in a little bit, that there's some of that. So he's like, okay, guys, we're a company, we are the product, we need to show the audience the thing. And I think there's a lot of complicating little things that are happening.
That's I mean, that just reminds me of I mean, I know people should know it's spoilers across everything, Critical Role here, but I'm not going to say too much, but when a character dies, and there's a whole week before back when they're playing live instead of banking episodes and playing them, they had a whole week to sit there and just like they cry about it, like depending on how they feel about that character, like a real death, in the campaign, or it could be an NPC as well that might have, passed. And then if only 3 of them know about it, they have to RP it when they come back.
When they come back, like, that's right.
What happened? What happened?
Yep.
And then they have to go back through it again. You can hear it in their voices before Matthew says, like, okay. And if, he doesn't say if nothing else. That's what I say. He says, no more announcements. Then it's time to, what the fuck does he say every single damn time?
Or at the end of the episode?
No, before the theme song, before he does the recap.
Let's dive into tonight's episode of Critical
Role. Yeah. And everybody's like, no, because they know that they have to go through that emotional thing again, as RP. And they're such good actors and actresses that, it just must be nasty, I'm not sure why I brought that up, but FCG and Laudna.
It's the acting thing. It's definitely going to need to be a conversation. I again, like I said, I wonder if they're just getting like a little bit of we don't need to talk about it. It's going to be fine.
The fatigue.
It's that's the fatigue thing. That's sort of my take on it. We'll see. There's also a viewer fatigue that's happening as part of that as well. That we might be getting sick of constantly them going through the same things. Check-in after check-in after check-in. We just have to keep checking in with each other to see. It's like there's a big, and I'm guilty of that too. I'm like, I'm getting tired of all these check-ins. They're fine. I like them, but I do want the campaign to progress a little bit. It feels like every couple of episodes is a check-in episode, and it gets a little monotonous after a while. Like they're on this again. This is another side quest. I understand it's an important one because they're really going here for 2 reasons, right? Ashton's backstory and the Yvonne Trevere, because they believe that he was probably around during the time of Ludinus coming up, and so there might be some info to be gleaned from that. But I mean, I want to get to the moon confrontation. I want to get them back to the key. I want to get them into the, maybe they're not ready yet. I don't know.
Well, that's another thing that we've talked about this frequently. It's like, they're at level 11 now, right? Is that 11?
10.
And Keyleth is like, hey, go to the moon. And they're like, okay, but we're gonna go here first.
Yeah.
Because Ashton needs something from here first.
Don't get me wrong. This trip to the Shattered Teeth has been amazing.
Frankly.
It's only been a couple of episodes, and I fucking love them. It's great, but it does feel like there's still a few more episodes to go because that's the way everything's going. It's like there's this episode could have been shortened into half, and then they could have done a lot more with other stuff, but it's like it just feels dragging on and monotonous and slightly too many check-ins.
We have one more week before there's a week off, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, so we have one this Friday for us.
Believe so. Let me check my calendar.
Yeah, so
we would have.
Yeah, so the 29th.
We'll have one more on the 22nd, and then probably the 29th is off.
Yeah, because the last
Which
week.
is sad because that's a public holiday for us.
Yeah. Oh, that's right, yeah. My school has hired a 5-star massage company to give us all a 30-minute massage on the 28th.
That's pretty amazing.
It is pretty nice. I don't know if I'd prefer the money or the massage, but I do get some time off class to do it. I chose to go before classes, but
okay.
That's neither here nor there. So this episode, I'm personally putting pressure on these motherfuckers. Like, okay, let's blast through the next couple of days.
I would like to see a really big end of month episode here.
Yes,
because
me too.
Yeah,
like 2 more days on the boat, maybe an altercation on the boats, maybe some battle where they actually get to fight something big. Maybe Avantico or fucking Ukatoa shows up. I don't know.
I think they're going to
knows?
fight the Reef Serpent or the Cloud Jaws. That's my take, in that it's going to be fucking big. But who knows? They're on a ghost pirate boat. Who the fuck knows what's going on?
Yeah. So either that, so that's the first half, and the second half, they actually get to the tree instead of something else happening beforehand, and have a big old drop and a big old something, make it a huge thing that changes something. Because I want something. I don't know. I guess I'm feeling a little empty. You know, the last time something big happened, it's hard to remember. I mean,
This ghost pirate boat could have been really big, but it wasn't. I mean, FCG did go down twice. That was a big deal, and it was a little dangerous, but it never felt like it was really that dangerous.
No.
It felt like things were under control. It didn't feel out of control at any time. Even though, yes, he did go down, but that was because that sniper selectively went. And then Ashton's, again, that fucking wormhole strike is just
that was so badass. I mean, it seems a
pretty
little
amazing.
OP, but I don't know.
Little bit.
Because like
he lost a lot of fucking power in those early levels, and now it's coming back to haunt Matt. He's gonna have to do something against it. I think he'll figure out a way.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, of course he will.
Because Ashton was seriously underpowered in those early levels. He was nowhere near as good of a barbarian as he could have been, and I think that's by design. I think he's underpowered in those early levels to become very powerful later on, which is what we're seeing now.
And speaking of what we saw there, where he was like, does that count as an enemy falling, you know? And he's like,
Yeah.
Sure, it does. And then he's like, okay, so you see Ashton fall down in through the water, and everybody's like, what? And then he shows up in between two allies back over here.
He's a fucking night crawler. He's basically Misty stepping all over the fucking battlefield now. AKA Nightcrawler from the X-Men. Just bam, 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 bam.
Yeah. And in the last episode, he was like, it says here, if an enemy or if a creature falls, then this does happen. You know, and then I don't remember exactly what happened that time because I was kind of confused, and I was a little, you know, like how you start a paragraph and you forget about the last. I was like, wait, what are you talking about? And I don't know what happened.
He basically, if a character falls, it's very similar to what Warlocks get with what Ford had with his what's the Hex. When he Hexblade curses them, if they drop, he teleports into where they were, or he can teleport something like 15 feet, or I forget what it is. It's very similar to that.
Okay.
Because the Warlocks get that as well. This one's slightly different, but it's because he doesn't have to use the bonus action, but it is underpowered because he still has to roll for this rage. And if he gets lucky and gets it, then it's awesome. But he might not get it. He might just get like his hyper rage or whatever the other three are. I have no idea.
Yeah. And what Taliesin loves to do, which I kind of find irritating sometimes,
Everybody
is that
does.
he just wants to keep everything a secret so that he has information or something.
Yep.
So he's like, wait, so that counts as this, right? And then I show up right here. I just want to know, did you choose to show up there? Is that what happens? You know, and he'll be like, you don't know. I know.
Yeah. But I think that's above
like
table.
I
don't think Ashton really knows what's going on. I think Taliesin knows, and I don't think Ashton really understands.
Right.
I think Ashton, when he goes, I think he's playing this. There's part of me that wants to believe that he's playing this really smart, that he's playing this like Ashton just goes into a rage and he's so fucking angry that he doesn't really understand what's happening. He just accepts it. And he's like, yeah, that happened. I don't know why.
I mean,
it just
says
happened.
that a lot.
He says a lot. I'm like, I don't know. I don't know. I just get, it's like Hulk. It's like Hulk. I get angry and you won't like me when I'm angry.
Yeah.
It's like that's what it is. It's like I get angry and I don't understand what happens, but I choose violence. Yeah. And it's just, and he's like, I want to hit that guy in the crow's nest. And I do.
Right. Go for it.
I don't know how I do, but I just do. Yeah. And it's, and I think there's part of that. And I think Taliesin's, he's a little smarmy about it, where he's like, I'm not telling because I know, but you don't.
Oh,
and I
this
think
will be interesting. You're like, just say it, man.
Yeah. So I think what he's saying is that Taliesin knows because he worked this out with Matt. So Taliesin and Matt know, you don't know. And what I think would make a lot more sense is if Ashton, when he finished it all, was like, what the fuck just happened?
Right.
How did I do that? what I think that would if that is the case, if I'm right about this, which I kind of think I am, I don't think Taliesin is playing it completely smart. I think he would be it would serve him far better to act sort of confused or be like, I don't know what just happened there. I don't care. I got them, right? Did you see that? I got them. That's all I care about. And then maybe that could be on the other characters, the other cast, to explore it a little bit deeper. So I don't know.
I've been wrong on every other account except for Molly Mock, where it actually the choices he was making or the RP he was doing or whatever, they made perfect sense, and it was revealed later.
Right.
Talison's
a very smart dude.
Yes.
Like he really is.
He is.
And he's a very good D&D player. He probably is the best D&D player there. Not including Matt, but he's like honestly, he has the most experience. Is he the most fun RP guy? Maybe not. Although Caduceus could prove me wrong on that. But because I think Caduceus was his greatest character, and maybe one of the greatest RP'd characters that we've seen. And Jester maybe too. I don't know. They're all great.
It's hard to say with that campaign.
It is.
It's really hard.
They
were
scale.
all really good. I mean, like Ford was a little bit kind of on the side, but everybody else was just on point, man, for that campaign. What was I going to say about Taliesin? I've been wrong on every front except for Molly Mock. Like he came out of the gates not really being able to play that character that well, you know, and it's shown pretty bright. You know, that's like, oof, you're stepping out of your bailiwick for this one.
Totally.
And for this one, like there's been like 2 or 3 times in this campaign where like he's sitting there, he's like, oh, fuck, and then it came out that like every time he moves, it's pain.
It's pain.
And I'm like, oh shit, that makes sense. That's why he's so curmudgeon-y and like, fuck. And so he hugs him.
It took a long time for us to get to that point. And
I thought he was overacting, but no, he was playing his character perfectly, and I had to eat my foot. I was wrong. Right. You know, so maybe this time too. I don't know.
Could be. I choose to give him the benefit of the doubt on this one. I think we'll find out a lot more. I don't know. He's playing it very, like we said it before. I think he's playing it very punk, and that's what punks do. It's what he said it on Four-Sided Dive. He's like, this is what punks do. They do these things. They love fiercely, and they hate fiercely, and they do everything to extremes, right? So there's part of that. I think maybe
he's being Matt Lillard from SLC. You know. I got one left. You want to roll it out? I'm going to get another 2. Because I've rolled 3 2s in a row, so let's do this.
14.
16. Look at this.
Hey, you got one.
I was actually expecting another 2. How many sides off from a 2 is that? Oh, plenty. That was far off.
It's on the opposite side of the dice, almost. That's only 2 away, 1 away.
5 should be opposite, yeah. Oh, yeah, that's almost on the opposite side. Yeah, sure. Okay, well, the last one I got here is oh, this has nothing to do with the episode, really.
Oh, okay, great.
Touched on it as well. A couple of terms that kind of went under the radar that I really don't want to go under the radar. First one was beef serpent. We should all incorporate that into our daily lives.
Yep.
But I didn't seem to get the Laura reaction that I was expecting.
Oh, she laughed hard.
She did?
Oh yeah,
okay.
Yeah. I caught that one. I heard them. I heard Travis say beef serpent, and they all went. What?
And then he was like reef serpent,
and Laura was kind of. She was like, but she was holding it in.
She was luring. Okay.
Oh yeah, big time.
Because she has tamed that teenager thing a little bit lately.
What did Ashley say right after that? Beef serpent musk bomb or something?
Oh, the thing bomb that the chick gave to them.
Yeah.
The something bum.
Hot cross buns.
Yeah, the hot cross buns potion, whatever that was. So beef serpent should not go away. I think that she needs to stick around. And if nobody else, we're gonna have to keep it up. I'm definitely gonna use it at some point because it's fucking hilarious. And the other one was Crossbro.
Crossbro, I missed that one.
It went way under the radar. It was when somebody attacked the sniper guy.
Cerelia. Cerelia was the one-eyed skeleton up in the. She was the navigator.
Right. The one eye. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, Navigator Cerelia is one eye, blackened, like it was a fire genasi skeleton.
Yeah. And once again, it was Travis who misspoke. He was
The
like
cross
the cross bro guy, and nobody reacted as far as I could tell.
I missed it. I didn't hear that.
I just heard it tonight, and I'm like, cross bro, come on, man, that's a great name. It's specific to D&D. I mean,
Sure.
beef serpent, you can bring that up anywhere in life, but cross bro, like,
Sure.
if any one of your friends is really good with a crossbow, or if they really like them for some reason, it's a cross bro. It could be a female too, or anywhere in between. I don't want those terms to disappear.
I had a cleric build in D&D 3.5 who was he had a X bow. It was actually a crossbow with two bows in an X, and it was a repeating crossbow. Sort of like Van Helsing.
Love that word, repeat for a crossbow or a rifle. Repeater. Oh, I don't know why I like that so much. It just sounds amazing.
It was a fun build. He was very much.
Crossbow.
It was an Expo. I was very much a Swiss Army knife for that campaign.
San Diego Expo, Comic-Con.
I built that cleric to be a proper toolbox where it was like not good at one thing, just really not great at one thing, really good at everything.
Did I not do the graphic for that, Rolly?
I don't know, did you? All right, well, my yes and doesn't have much to do with anything. I just laughed when they finally ID'd the boots that Ratanish had, and they turned out to be not boots of haste. That made me giggle. I'm like,
Yep.
Because there are no boots of haste in 5th edition.
They're boots of speed.
Boots of speed, which are very different than boots of haste. The boots of speed are basically 10 minutes, double your speed, and any opportunity attacks have disadvantage against you. The neat thing about the boots of speed, which I didn't realize, I think I had read this once before, but I'd forgotten about it, was that 10 minutes. They last for 10 minutes, but you can break that up into increments throughout the day.
What do you mean? You can turn them off?
You can turn them off.
Oh, because he said like you can click them, right?
You click the heels.
Hold on
and
a
then
second.
you click the
Didn't
heels.
he say if you click them off or if it expires, you have to wait a day? I thought that's what he said.
No, it specifically says in the instructions that you can click the heels and then you can click the heels again, and it's 10 minutes accumulative throughout the day.
So if I do 5 minutes, does that
if
round up to
you can
10?
do multiple combats basically.
What if I do one round?
Yeah, you bonus action turn them on, bonus action turn them off. Yep. Then you have 9 minutes 54 seconds left.
I don't know if I like this.
It's an interesting point because you can use them for multiple combats.
Yeah, in one day. I mean, that's
how much doubles your distance, combat? Which with Ashton is going to be crazy because it's going to give him 100 feet. But there might
Vax level shit, like he said.
With that wormhole strike, does that mean his wormhole strike is 100 feet? Because that's not really kosher.
That's not travel.
Yeah, it's a weird one. I wonder how they're going to play that.
Unless it specifically says whatever your travel speed is times 2.
Well, sure, but it does that affect things that are affected by your distance?
I would like to think no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Do not know.
Do not know either.
We don't know because we don't know the specifics of homebrew shit.
On the boat.
Anyway, hey, bud, that's my last one. Let's. Do you want to? We're at an hour here. Let's. We should probably wrap this up. Maybe. I got some shit I got to do.
I really liked it. Just when they finally realized what the deal was between the captain and them. They were like, okay, so the sword first and then the thing. And they were like, wait, I thought it was after this. He's like, you agreed to this, motherfucker, but I stick to my word. When Matthew just came out with the old man voice, what did he say? He's like, no, what are you doing? Or like, we have a bond or something like that.
With Kyle?
With the blade, yeah.
Oh,
he flipped it over. Right, he was handing it over.
The Graz Char or whatever it's called. Yeah.
What are you doing? He went into like Gandalf voice.
Right.
And then he was still in werewolf form, so he came back with something, and he was like, what did he say? He said, death is death. Hard to do. Death is just a door.
Handed it over. Right. Right. Death is just a door.
It was so fast. I was like, Travis, where do you come up with this shit?
Yeah.
Like earlier, when way long ago, he was like, what is it? Come correct or get corrected. I'd never heard that before. And this one, like, death is just a door. I'm like, that's so profound. I've never heard that before either. And he's also like, just giving a blade. Who cares?
Yeah. Yep.
I thought that was hilarious. And that will be also another situation where we'll see if that actually picks up in the episode.
Yeah, okay. Sorry, Joe.
I know you can hear it, but I don't know if it comes through.
That'd be interesting to know if it will. I'll check that out for sure.
Yeah. But yeah, on that note, do you got anything you got to promote or fucking blast your mouth about?
No, I got nothing to say about anything.
All right, cool. Well, y'all, get his socials. He's bengreenspoon, everything. I'm drummatucka on just Instagram at this point. I am playing a fair number of shows, so get on that Instagram if you want to come out to one of these shows and watch me fucking lay that shit out on a goddamn stage. Yeah, October 21st we have a show. Another one on the 29th potentially, but that's here in Taiwan. The other 21st is up in Miaoli, I think. We're trying to fill out some more, trying to promote this album. Check it out. I'll keep those links in the shit as well.
Do it.
And I thought there was something else I wanted to mention, but if I don't remember it in the next 2 seconds. All right. Well then, hey, if nothing else,
I'm
don't
good.
forget to love each. Don't forget to love each other, everybody. And we'll see you. Or sorry, is it finally Friday? I got it, bud. I finally got it.
There you go.
Peace, everybody. Take care.
Peace.
See you in a
Love
week.
yous all.